Comparison of Potawatomi to English. Potawatomi is very verb heavy. English is perhaps 30 to 35% verbs, while Potawatomi is closer to 75 or 80% verbs. Potawatomi is very descriptive, and understanding verbs is very important to understanding and using Potawatomi. Some unique traits of Potawatomi. Word order is less important because so much information is contained in the verb. This will be covered in greater depth in a later lesson. Potawatomi is gender neuter. In languages like French, a word is either masculine or feminine. In Potawatomi, a word is either animate, alive, or inanimate, non-living. This will also be covered in more depth in a later lesson, because there's quite a bit more to it. That's the basic gist of the animate. Many words which are considered adjectives in English are verbs in Potawatomi. For example, wauyeya, it is round, or mkadewa, it is black. These are actually verbs in Potawatomi. In English, you'd say, the big round ball. Well, in Potawatomi, round and the big part would be a verb. In Potawatomi, there is a we excluding the person being spoken to. So you can say, namajiman, we're leaving, but not you. In this way, Potawatomi is more direct and there's less confusion as there might be in English. For example, if you said, no, we're leaving, the person might go, oh, we are? No. They might have to use their hand and kind of make a motion, say, no, we're leaving, not you, kind of like that. In Potawatomi, there's no misunderstanding there. If you say namaji men, the person you're talking to is not coming with you. So, writing. Potawatomi has been written down a number of ways over the years by priests, census takers, linguists, and different bands of Potawatomi. Because English has a several hundred-year history of written materials, much more emphasis is put on writing, and there are many available books in English. Our society was mostly an oral society, with some exceptions. This will be explained in a little more depth in a later lesson. Verbs. There are four main types of verbs in Potawatomi. Animate intransitives, inanimate intransitives, ii's, ti, transitive inanimates, and transitive animates. Now, we don't want to get into too much linguistic stuff, but you want to kind of get a general idea of what these are. AI verbs are simply the simplest type of verbs. They simply state that something is taking place which doesn't affect anyone else. For example, bidge, he or she enters. Maji, he or she leaves. Nebiage, he or she writes. Jiptebe, he or she sits. Again, bidge, maji, nebiage, jiptebe. II verbs are basically verbs that state something non-living is. Often these are considered adjectives in English. For example, wauyeya, it is round. Wauyeya, mkadewa, it is black. Gachinwa, it is small. Gajate, it is hot. Gajate, it is hot. And this type of hot is only related to the sun, and it's related, that ate has to do with something happening with the sun, so it's weather related, hot. If you want to say like the stove is hot, you'd say gajide. Gajate, though, is hot, like outside. Ti verbs. These are verbs where something happens between someone alive and something not living or not alive. Nodan, he or she hears it. Nedwindan, he or she wants it. Dagnan, he or she touches it. Kishpanedon, he or she buys it. So, Nodan, Nedwindan, Dagnan, Gishpanedon. Ta verbs. These involve something happening between two animate people or two animate things. Nawab ma, I see him. Nawab muk, he sees me. Nawab mak, I see them. Gadabab ma, you check on him. Kanonan, he talks to him. So now, when you're first starting out, these AI verbs are going to be your best bet to learn because they're simpler to use. You can say like, I'm eating and then you say at the store versus I'm eating with somebody, or I see somebody. You say I saw, something, and then John walked up. So there's simpler ways of talking. But once you master those and you get to the TA verbs, you'll be able to say a lot more in a simpler, more concise way. Like you can say Gawabman, Kagiwabman, I saw you. That whole thing in that one word. So again, these are those 4 types of verbs. AI, which are just simple statement verbs. II, which are like adjectives, are just like descriptive. It is round, it is circular, or it is blue, it is long, etc. TI verbs. So this is one big difference from English. Like in English, we'd say, I see him, I see John, and I see that chair. It's the same see. In Potawatomi, you're saying, I see literally him or her, something animate, and I see it, or I hear it. Now, again, animacy and inanimacy, mostly it's things that are alive and non-living, but also things that are considered spiritual are considered alive, like a pipe, pawagan, or sema, tobacco, and a lot of things in nature that perhaps we don't consider alive, like Jesus, the sun, you'd be considered animate. So you'd literally say, Jesus nawabma, I see him or her, the sun. A few other unique traits. To make something small in Potawatomi, we usually add an S or ES. So this kind of throws you for a loop when you think in English S equals plural. Nko is a bear, Nkos is a little bear. Nko is a bear, Nkos is a little bear. Pluralizing in Potawatomi is done by adding an N or an EN to something non-living and a K or an EK to something living. So for example, Dopwin is a table, Dopwinen are tables, Nko is a bear, Nkok are bears. In conclusion, the language is a portal into the past. It allows us to see what was important to our ancestors. It is also our birthright. It is something that has been carried down for thousands of years to us. The more you understand the language, the better you will understand our culture. They are intrinsically wrapped together. End.